Welcome to the Snifflecast.
This is just going to be the cold open.
All right.
It's just going to be the Snifflecast. Welcome to the NIBScast. This is episode 7. I am Nick. Across from me is Matt Czech.
Aloha.
Derek Ragsdale.
See.
And next to me this week, instead of Aaron, because he is busy, not moving into a new place this week, he just took an extra shift at his other job, is Dylan Schmidt.
Hello.
Whose last name I forgot there for a second.
Dylan-san.
So how you guys been?
Mm-hmm. Good. We got ice cream.
You've been,
Yeah, dude. I'm wanting to play some Mortal Kombat.
We got to Cold Stone. We went to Cold Stone.
Oh, yeah. Cold Stone. 1 scoop of love, 2 scoops of ice cream.
Good slogan.
If it's not their slogan, it should be.
No, really.
1 scoop of love, 2 scoops of ice cream.
There's still room on our t-shirts, companies who want to sponsor us. We
Our t-shirts.
Also,
I'm wearing a
we're
blank
going
shirt.
to be getting t-shirts at some point, apparently.
I'm wearing a blank shirt right now. Let's print it. Come on.
And we're going to make a
Cold
bowling
Stone.
team, too. So.
A bowling team.
I just gotta say, I love every week during sound check, you guys talk like this loud, like constantly.
Yeah.
And then we start, and I'm like, you guys need to talk the volume that you normally talk. And then we start, and you guys are like, hey, how's it going, everybody? We're this loud now.
It's because there's noise going on.
Exactly.
It's all
Where
good.
you get excited.
It's all good. That's why I always make you guys quiet during sound check. All right, so first up this week, we have the fact that GameStop has announced that they're testing retro games. They're going to be buying and selling retro games. Apparently in New York City and Birmingham, Alabama are the 2 markets they're testing first, and then depending on how that does, they'll probably expand it elsewhere. Do you guys have any opinions on that?
I didn't. Do people play video games in New York City and Birmingham?
Well, no. See, my take on it is that, like, as pixel art has become more, like, mainstream now, or kind of counterculture. No, not pixel. It looks stupid. I feel like a lot of hipsters. A lot of hipsters are getting into it, so they want their retro consoles. And for Birmingham, that's new technology.
Yeah, they got to start over. They got
That's
to
fair.
start at the beginning.
So what is considered retro? Like PS2?
Everything before what they sell now.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So
because I actually
I-
want to buy PS2 games from there and GameCube games because I remember when they stopped selling it.
And consoles.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about GameStop doing it when there's already so many independent stores doing it
I feel like it's going
and
to run
specializing in that?
It's going to run out. It's going to run those out of business.
I feel like it's a smart move for GameStop.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely a smart move.
Smart move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
I mean, I'll definitely price check stuff if I go to buy a old thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's still there's enough like going on with like the local shops that they're not just going to go out of business because they do enough other stuff too.
Hopefully, I know.
And
Gameworks
plus, like,
is all about that.
Yeah.
That's its niche. It's
GameWorks doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, what's
You're
that?
thinking Game Worlds.
Game Worlds,
It's owned by the
sorry.
guy that owned GameWorks' brother. And
Yeah, no, you don't like him.
well, he's fine. I worked for him. His brother though, yeah. There's a reason that store disappeared overnight.
Oh,
It was abducted.
was that the one
He was
next?
not
That's the one next to
abducted.
Jimmy John's. That's the one I'm thinking.
No,
of?
that's Game Corner.
Game Corner.
that was-
Game Corner is owned by a dude named Justin Thompson.
But that one
is my buddy.
But that one is gone now.
Yeah,
it's
Metro-
not gone. It moved
Well,
to
whatever.
Northtown.
Metro PCS is there
It
now.
had terrible.
So you can get,
it was terrible.
No. You
Oh,
go
it's
in-
PCS?
Yeah.
I saw the sign there that I thought it said Metro POS.
No.
I was like,
it's
either
PCS.
that means point of sale or piece of either way. That store will
He said,
never
"Yeah,
affect
yeah,
me.
Dang, I've been going to like Kohl's to buy my video games. I didn't know that this
yeah."
existed.
The Cole's been. Oh,
You should
boy.
see my collection
Sonic Adventure
of TV
2.
game show video games.
Corey in the house.
Corey in the house. Corey in the house for DS. Yes, please.
But yeah, no, I'm as long as it's the cheapest available. I mean, granted, I'm probably not the biggest like
That's
old
the thing. Like
but
I'm partial to it because I know a lot of people that work in the retro game community around here. So like I feel bad for them, but at the same time, like it makes absolute sense for GameStop to do this.
I don't know. I feel like it'll be enough where, like, the smaller shops still will have more of, like, the collector pieces, you know, like Earthbound and stuff like that.
Right.
I
Like they
mean,
probably won't have a business
there's
model
so
to sell,
many
like,
old.
sealed in games, sealed in boxes.
There's so many of
And
them.
like a lot of the smaller shops do repairs and stuff like that, where GameStop, I mean, sometimes, whatever. But I don't trust most people that work at GameStop to touch.
Oh yeah, no.
So, I mean, I think they'll still stay alive in that aspect, just not as much as like, I don't know how well it'll work out for GameStop.
Right.
Are they gonna do what GameWorks does, where they have like
Again, you mean Game Worlds?
God dang it, Game Worlds! I remember it.
No.
Where they have like
Game
extra
World's
pieces.
game a day, two scoops of life.
Hey Chuck, if you want to sponsor us and give us some money,
Give us some consoles.
we'll keep talking about Game Worlds. Anyway,
True.
But
We'll
Game
make sure Matt
Worlds,
gets it right.
Are they gonna do what do you think they're gonna do what Game Worlds does, where they have like extra wires, extra controllers for?
I mean they already kind of do, don't they?
Yeah, I would
Do
say
they?
they do
'Cause
because
I
they sell
feel
enough.
like-
Because I mean, you can still buy. Some of them still have like PS2 controllers and stuff. Sometimes
I remember going in there once
And-
trying to find a freaking wired Xbox 360 controller. They had nothing.
Yeah.
They had all
Okay.
those crap ones, but they didn't have
Yeah,
regular wired ones.
they never had
So,
like regular ones.
they do
really.
now.
Well,
I saw
Well,
recently.
they also sell like iPods and stuff now too. So
I got excited the other day when I went to pick up Mortal Kombat. I was walking out and I saw Darksiders 2 sitting in the like under $5 bin.
Oh
I was like,
yeah.
I don't have the money, or else I just pick that up now.
Did he ask if you wanted to pre-order Mortal Kombat?
He didn't. No.
but, I don't know. I'm still kind of salty about my
Tell us what
pre-order
happened about that,
experience.
Yeah.
So
tell us about
I
that.
went
This
in.
is why GameStop shouldn't sell
So, yeah.
retro stuff.
Or they should have people that actually know.
They shouldn't be pre-ordering the retro game.
I wonder-
Anyways,
Would you like to
anyways,
pre-order?
so yeah, I went in about 2 weeks ago. Went, all right, I want to pre-order the collector's edition of Mortal Kombat,
That
which,
sweet statue.
which I would assume, when you
cool.
say collector's, that's the one that comes with the thing that no other form comes with.
You know, the one that's called the collector's edition.
Yeah.
Right. Collect something.
with a
You
K,
would
though,
think,
it's Mortal Kombat.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't clear enough. Maybe they thought I meant collectors with a C. Anyways, so I went in the day of the pre-release to pay it off in the morning. So I'd already put down like the $25 deposit, whatever, and they're like, "All right, $80," and I'm like, "All right, cool. I'll pick it up later." And then they have signs out because they had a tournament going on. I'm like,
see how
"Hey,
mad he
what's
is
going
in
on
his
with these
voice.
signs?"
The
What?
rage.
It's just like
On a
quiet.
scale of 0 to mad, how mad are you?
Well, you mad?
You mad, bro?
I'm mad. I'm mad, bro. It's like a quiet seething underneath that, like, if I could, it would be like setting fire to like townships, but
Yeah.
it's not the case anymore.
You gotta burn all the people.
Right.
Burn.
But anyways, yeah, so go in, I'm like, hey, what's going on tonight? I see it says like 9 and 11. He's like, well, yeah, like 11 you can pick up the game and we're going to have it out for demo at 9. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll stop by at like 10 and just hang out. Get here, and then it's like, oh yeah, we got a tournament going on that started at 9. And I'm like, all right, well, that's cool that I asked you what was going on at 9 and you didn't tell me there was a tournament, but whatever. But yeah, so it was a fun experience all around. Spent $50. I spent $10 for a scorpion skin. Yeah. So, I mean, good deal.
I'm pretty sure you didn't actually mention that you didn't get the collector's edition.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
If you listen to that objectively, you like build up the fact that you paid for the collector's
right.
edition and then
Yeah.
like never mention it.
Yeah, no, I guess that is a good point. So yeah, I got the limited edition, which is $100, comes with the season pass and a scorpion skin. Now, the game itself is $60, the season pass is $30. So it's $10 more for a scorpion skin. So
ridiculous.
worthwhile.
It's also ridiculous that the season pass is $30.
Yeah, that's-
It's 3 skin packs, each of them
He's so
have
mad.
3 skins in them, and then 4 characters.
Well, right, because the characters are free, because it's $10 per skin. That's been established.
Alright, that's fair enough.
Hey,
No. Those
Mike got a
those
poster.
would be it's
wants
3
that.
skin
Got a
packs.
poster.
Well, right,
with
because
3
because
each
those
plane.
are
So
like
it's
they're
10
not
per
as
skin
good.
pack.
They're not as good
They
as
didn't put
the,
nearly as much time.
Yeah, no, it is like a skin pack. Still, it's just one skin in the
Right.
pack.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but you can apply that one skin to all of the
Scorpions.
one character.
all
Yeah.
the scorpion.
Like if
like
2
all
people
3
play a
I mean-
scorpion, you can apply it to both of those scorpions.
Right,
Yeah.
like all 3 variations. So I mean, really,
So
that's
that's a
pretty good deal.
$20 deal.
That is.
Right.
Give them
in
more money.
actuality, it's
I should probably go back and
$20.
give him another
Season pass, taste the savings.
Save the savings.
All right, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about, Star Wars Battlefront is going to be available through EA Access. It's a subscription service. I think it's like $3 for a month, and it's for Xbox One specifically. So Battlefront is going to be available, I believe it's between 5 and 7 days early on Xbox One, and nothing else.
Only if you pay the
subscription to EA Access, which, again, why would you do that? Fucking terrible. But
Yeah.
what kills me about that is who owns an Xbox One?
Aaron.
Yeah,
People
Aaron.
own
I'm
Xbox
saying
One.
not to be that douche that like stirs up all console wars, but like who owns an Xbox One?
Aaron does.
Aaron, and my
Scott
brother-in-law, and my
has one.
brother-in-law won it off of a Pepsi Cat.
Scott and
Did he?
Spencer have one.
That's awesome.
They
They have a lot of games for it.
There are a lot of people that have.
but
it.
are they good?
I mean,
are
I
they
didn't
good
play
or
it.
exclusive?
I didn't play it.
Yeah.
So.
Halo 5. That's the only reason I want an Xbox One. I don't even care if it's good or not. I just want it. Like Halo 4, I wasn't happy with it because it was Call of Duty.
But it was better than Call of Duty.
Well, the ending was.
It was better than Call of Duty because it had a Halo kind of story. It was
I'm
Halo.
just talking about. I'm just talking about online. I didn't actually beat the campaign.
Yeah, no. The campaign was Call of Duty.
The
So,
ending-
I mean,
the
you
ending
didn't
is Call
have
of
to
Duty.
play it.
I don't
Just imagine Call of Duty where the main character is Master Chief.
Yeah.
It's still better than Call of Duty.
Yeah. The ending is Call of Duty ending. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna spoil that one
I'm
if
not
you
even
know
like a
Call of
huge
Duty
fan of
ending is.
Halo in general, but that still makes it better than Call of
But
Duty.
yeah.
Okay.
you guys see the trailer?
No, that's the only reason.
Oh yeah.
For Battlefront?
Yeah.
engine
For Star Wars.
trailer.
For Battlefront.
Oh, I haven't
Yeah.
seen the one.
The
for Battlefront.
in-engine trailer is amazing. That Frost.
It's cinematic. It's a cinematic trailer, but it's made with the engine that they have the game.
That Frost.
Yeah, it
Frost.
Oh,
fire
what
it is.
I really liked about it is how
Does Han Solo show up at the end?
no, I wish it is on Endor.
one thing I didn't like about
It's on
the
Endor?
actual
Yeah.
the Force Awakens
Oh, God.
commercial.
Gripe.
No. The only thing I didn't like is that Han Solo is now older because Harrison Ford's older. Chewbacca looks the exact same.
what is the lifespan of a Wookiee?
Chewbacca has a longer lifespan. He's
no,
in the
I know,
third
but,
movie,
like,
and he's like fully grown, and
I
Han
know,
Solo
but I'm just-
wouldn't have been born.
I'm just saying, like,
It's
they
like-
could
been
he
born.
would-
they
yeah,
could
he
have
would've been
thrown
like
in like
kid.
a little
Yeah.
bit of like gray fur or something, like a little bit of touches to show
Let's
age.
make Han Solo look like total shit.
Like, because I mean,
I just really wish they used the
that
exact
was
same
well,
costume.
okay, because he was
Yeah.
like an adult in Episode 3.
Oh wait,
Episode 4 is like 20 or so years later, right?
have you seen the comic, the Star Wars comic, where Han Solo and Chewbacca crash land on Earth? Native
hell yeah.
Americans kill Han Solo, and Indiana Jones, 126 years later, goes searching for him, finds Han Solo's body, and turns out Chewbacca is actually Bigfoot. So that will tell
canonical.
you. That will tell you that Chewbacca has a longer lifespan.
Right.
That is
Yeah.
canonical.
Is that canon?
Yes.
Wait. Are you not
speaking of trailers,
bullshitting?
speaking of trailers, Batman v Superman,
Oh,
which
okay.
I call it that because I think of it as a court case.
I also watched that.
Batman v
That's what it's
Superman.
called. So
I also, yes.
Batman versus the Principalities of Superman.
But have you guys actually watched that?
Yeah, I watched it too.
Oh, did you bleed?
dude, I think Ben Affleck's the perfect Batman.
I don't know that he's perfect, but I
think he's
didn't
the
have a
perfect
problem
Bruce
with him when they announced him. I was skeptical because, like,
I think he's the
Ben
perfect Bruce
Affleck,
Wayne.
really? He does look really good as Bruce Wayne, like in
Yeah.
the pictures I've seen
Yeah.
of him.
I'm happy we're out of the Christopher Nolan Batman's. I didn't like the
I'm
voice.
glad that Star Wars turned into Batman.
You know, right?
Who's directing Batman vs Superman?
Zack Snyder.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just glad we're out
Christopher
of that.
Nolan. Oh no, he did Man of Steel. I knew he was doing another one of the superhero movies, and it was Man of Steel because I still haven't watched that.
It's pretty
It's
good.
alright.
Lumberjack Superman.
Yeah, Lumberjack Superman. He's
Yeah.
got super beard.
Shave by looking at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, what I like about
Yeah,
the Star Wars Battlefront trailer is, you know how since the original movies were made, like, they kind of have older technology than the new movies?
Right.
In the trailer, they show them using, like, one of the bubble shields on Endor, and it's just
Nice.
like, I like how they bring in the newer technology,
Right.
in quotes.
The newer technology that existed before.
Yeah.
Current, yeah.
When you say
know.
bubble shield, are you talking about like the droid deck
Like
guys?
Episode 1.
Or,
Yeah.
or
Like
the
that-
Gungan.
It's more like the Gungan, because
Oh,
they
yeah.
put down a thing and they activate it, and then
okay.
it, like, activates around them and blocks the
Yeah.
AT-AT's,
Yeah.
like, plasma bolts.
Okay, I'm gonna. What's the giant one? I forgot. Is that
AT-AT.
the AT-AT?
AT-AT is the four-legged walker. AT-ST are the
Okay,
two-legged.
that's what I was thinking. I watched people talk about it because they also there's a demo one.
They did
but they
a-
haven't shown that one. They've only shown it to selected people.
I don't know if they've done it yet or not, but I know they had a tech demo up in like Toronto or wherever. Whatever, because I know
Because it showed they're talking about the HUD and stuff like that.
yeah, I think the Toronto branch, whatever, is working on a lot of it. Because I know they had like 2 tech demos they were doing, and I think they had like a non-disclosure agreement on it. Basically, they had a tech demo for it.
They got an embargo.
There's a game mode where it's like kind of like a rush mode where the rebels have to kill this AT-AT and have to do all these different steps to kill the AT-AT. And it looks like from the trailer, the only way to actually do that is sending like one of the thing in the trailer where they just blow it up. With,
Yeah.
I think they the rebels have to go through like different hoops to get that prepared just to destroy it, and then
all you need are
they have to.
But
what?
Darth Vader does
show
show up.
Yeah.
Darth Vader shows up in the trailer.
Yeah, Darth Vader shows up at the end. But that sounds like that's like a cool game mode. Like it's a rush mode.
You know what I forgot about? You know what I forgot existed until I was watching a video about achievements earlier today? There's an achievement in Force Unleashed 1 where when you're Darth Vader in the intro, when you kill like 15 stormtroopers, the achievement is worst day shift manager ever. Do you remember Chad Vader, day shift manager?
No.
No? There's a YouTube series about Darth Vader's brother who worked the day shift as the manager at a grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous and fantastic.
Yeah.
So, since I can't go a week without talking about Monster Hunter, as it would seem, Monster Hunter is the first title in the series to have 1 million units shipped to the West from, Asia.
You sell patties to
places
the west.
beyond sell patties to the west.
Silk lands.
But yeah, so that's that.
It's a thing.
You guys don't really play Monster Hunter, so I feel you guys.
I played if I could buy.
I played 3 until everybody stopped playing it a week later.
Well, it's because
I just never started playing it.
It's fair enough.
I mean, you're still playing Elder Scrolls.
I
am at least.
But yeah, so Monster Hunter 4, awesome. Moving on, 2K Australia is shutting down. Matt is probably sad about that. They made the pre-sequel, Borderlands pre-sequel.
Pre-sequel is pretty good.
They're closing down because of the cost of doing business where they are stationed is too high for the money that they were making. And that's sad. It's always sad.
It's sad.
They should come over here,
so
man.
good.
Shut down.
Yeah, come work for NIBScast. Come make NIBScast the pre-sequel for the second game that hasn't been made yet. Make all 3.
Sad.
2K games.
2K games.
I'm sad about
2K
that.
Australia.
Give us 2K down payment, please.
We'll just call it 2K NIBScast.
2K.
Yeah. No, Nibs Media.
NIBSK.
Media.
2Cast.
2Cast. We'll change our name if you guys want to pay us. That works.
2K.
Well, don't worry, we'll sell out.
It's our price.
2K.
But yeah, no, that is kind of sad because Borderlands pre-sequel is a fun game.
The sequel's I think the pre-sequel is probably
I have
the
not
best
finished
Borderlands.
either of the Borderlands games.
I finished the first 2,
but
It's like I've started them and I have a lot of fun, and then like
play on
you
the
tend
moon.
to do, I'll start with you guys, and then I don't want to play that character without you guys.
They have the
and
best
then
classes
we all just
in the
stop
pre-sequel.
Oh yeah, no. The pre-sequel's the best Borderlands, I think. By far.
playing. I know they have Claptrap.
Yeah,
Claptrap's
Claptrap's I like Wilhelm. He's my favorite.
I like Wilhelm
because he gets little robots.
Class?
He actually
He's a cyborg, and as you upgrade, like in the second game, he is a robot when you fight him. Like he's a bad guy. He is just a robot.
And a head.
But you start in the game as a human, and every time you like upgrade yourself, you get like new cyborg parts.
And like
so you're just slowly becoming a robot.
I like that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that's a fun game.
It's good.
Well, maybe one of the other 2K branches can make
Hopefully.
pre-sequel 2.
I would assume
pre-sequel.
I think that's probably 2K's most selling franchise at this point.
Definitely.
So I don't think they're going to end it.
Well, especially, I like the way it played.
They
It
make
was
all the 2K sports games, though, right?
I thought 2K Sports made 2K Sports.
Well, I mean,
it's in the
2K itself.
yeah, I mean, like
2K is actually rather large.
Yeah, I think he was talking about like the actual 2K company, not just Australia. Because Borderlands definitely was Australia's, golden egg, whatever.
Well, yeah,
it's golden ticket.
But I mean, like, I feel like even though I hate sports games,
going back to your original question, then yes, the umbrella of 2K games does make the 2K Sports games.
I just say, but yeah, I mean, I feel like they'll still be fine. Hopefully, a lot of those guys will be able to move to other parts of 2K,
right?
Or just get picked up by somebody else. Because I mean, I think they did pretty good work with pre-sequel. So,
and I don't know if Australia has a lot of game companies since the high restrictions.
No, back to Birmingham, like it's all new tech.
Yeah, it's new stuff.
They're getting.
They're trying to plug it in a kangaroo.
It's too dangerous there, man.
Crikey. And I doubt that. Like, this isn't going to be the death of Borderlands or anything because like the Handsome collection. That was on PS4. It was like the best selling.
That's because it had a bunch
ever.
of the games.
It did.
That's why it's
they
great.
know how to make a
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried about the Borderlands game. I'm just sad that that branch
Right.
It's cool. I like that one.
Speaking of Australia, do you guys know how stupid koalas are?
Really dumb.
Yeah, dude, they'll fall on your head.
They can give you syphilis.
They are not drop bears.
They will, though.
That is a fallacy.
They can give you syphilis.
I wouldn't be surprised because they're dumb. No,
They're dumb.
no, they aren't smart enough. If you take the only food source they eat, eucalyptus leaves,
Which no one else can eat.
eat, and neither can their young. They have to eat their mother's essentially
Are you serious?
in order to be able to digest it because they don't have the developed stomach for it yet. But if you take the leaves off of a tree and put it on a plate in front of the koala, it won't eat them. It doesn't know their leaves.
It's just one of those animals that would have gone away, but
Oh, yeah.
humans came around and were like, it's so cute, we gotta save it. And so
You want more evidence
it's an
of that?
unnatural being in our natural world.
So most marsupials have a way when their teeth grind down to get more teeth so they can continue to eat. Kangaroos have 4 sets of molars that move forward whenever their front ones wind down. Wombats have rootless teeth, so they just are constantly growing.
Dude, wombats are the best.
Koalas starve to death. They have no way to get new teeth. They just starve to death once their teeth
We have to get
grind
them
down.
new teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so cute.
Koala
Give them
dentures.
dentures.
Koala dentures. Hell yeah.
It's like sloths, man.
But sloths
Like
at least know how to.
Yeah, no,
they're
sloths
not
can live
dependent
better
on
than
humans.
koala.
Sloths don't live better. They just exist better.
But they're always smiling. They're always smiling.
They're always happy.
That's the difference.
that is the difference.
I
Every
read my
day.
favorite thing about animals the other day. It was basically somebody had posed the question, do caterpillars know when they're making their cocoon that they're going to turn into something, or is it just like a compulsion?
Die.
And someone said, just think of caterpillars and most animals as living machines. They don't have
They
higher
just-
brain
they don't
functions.
know.
They're not sentient. They
just
just
don't know.
they just do. They just
kinda-
exist.
What's kind of cool is that when they're in the cocoon, there's like a goo.
Yeah, they
They
melt
turn
down.
to like a goo and then reproduce.
They just become sperm.
It's like
They kinda do.
it's like Reapers in
cool.
Mass Effect 2. They'll just melt the humans
There you go.
and make a new being.
and then make butterflies.
a beautiful butterfly Reaper.
So PSN is having price cuts. I don't have the list of them up right now, but I do know that the season pass for Shadows of Mordor, which is a great game. If you haven't played it, go play it. Go buy it. Just go play it.
It was great.
Go buy it. Go play it.
It's really good. The season pass is 10% off. It's 20% off if you have PlayStation Plus. So yeah.
So yeah, there's a bunch of deals on their website, and just Google PSN price cuts, guys.
Yeah.
So if you're interested. So
I really like Shadows of Mordor. I guess
game of days, 2 scoops of life.
they have 2 DLCs out for it right now, as far as I know. One of them is the one where you play as the dwarf,
Torben.
Torben, yeah,
that's pretty cool.
and you go around and do stuff with beasts. Not
Stuff?
not like
you
sex
kill
stuff.
his like
This isn't Splice.
yeah.
You know, okay.
But there's that one, and then there's the Bright Lord DLC where you play as Celebrimbor. You play as
The ring
the
lord.
guy that played.
Yeah,
that made
I
the rings.
didn't know that was a DLC. It's cool.
You play as him fighting against Sauron. So
Nice.
yeah.
Hope he wins.
If anyone didn't know, spoiler alert, Celebrimbor is your spirit.
Celebrimbor.
I hope he wins. Hope
No,
he kills
he
Sauron.
loses.
I hope he kills I hope he destroys the One Ring.
Yeah, hopefully.
So we don't have to rely on short people.
I know, right?
Short people got no
Little legs.
got copyright strike.
Around till
I'm a
big,
copy
great
thank
big
you for
legs.
taking my tongue in a
All
podcast.
right, you need to shut up.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
Randy Newman it up.
How do you guys? All right, so moving on to the discussion topics, because that's all the news I got. Because
Randy
I'm not the
Newman.
one that gathers news.
Randy
That's
Newman,
Aaron.
if you want to write our theme song,
Yeah.
we'll pay you $2K.
Dude, Randy Newman, write our theme song.
Dude.
I want that to happen.
Yes, now okay, Randy Newman, we're finding you.
Short people got no
All
NIBScast.
right, now we got the
Come
Nibs.
listen to the
We got Nibs Media.
NIBScast.
We got Randy Newman coming in. He's gonna be the star of our game.
Randy Nibcast.
All the ice cream he wants.
The
Oh,
game.
we're writing a game about Randy Newman
No,
now?
he's just gonna be the star of it.
Oh, okay.
So
It's
he's
not
gonna be.
about him at
It's
all.
not about him.
He
He's
just
he's
is
the
there.
main character.
He's Master Chief. They take that, you coming in.
He just sings short people to the grunts.
The grunts.
Yeah. And they pop around the car.
Short people.
No reason.
So moving on to the discussion topics, how do you guys feel about microtransactions in normal games? Not like freemium games, but like Guild Wars, stuff like that.
Guild Wars has I haven't played Guild Wars. I've seen it, and you guys talked about it, so I know about it.
Guild Wars bought it last week. It was $10.
I know, shut up. But that's a good way of doing it. Where you buy the game, it
doesn't force you.
It doesn't force you to buy it, but if you want to, you can.
Exactly.
That's a proper way of doing it.
Kind of back to earlier, man. I was talking about we've been playing Elder Scrolls Online. It's a pretty great game, but I feel like I like the way their microtransactions work. Where it's like, they just went free, or they went free to play, so $60, you just play the game forever. But their microtransactions are either cosmetic or something that's not like game breaking, but just you get extra revives or you get repairs.
Yeah, because they released that Jaguar.
Yeah, it's like
mount,
and I like that it's not. I do like the way they do mounts where it's just a skin for your mount, not like, hey, now your mount's faster than everybody else's because you paid money for it, or
whatever. Then they do it the same way as Guild Wars. Yeah, so that's right. That's a good way to do it.
What's a bad way of doing it?
A bad way of doing it is like
you need to pay $5 for this mission.
Yeah. Most
mobile games.
Like the game breaking freemium games where you can play them for like 3 days, and then once you hit 3 days, the time wall that you have to wait is like a day before you can do more than one.
It's kind of like actually like Star Wars: The Old Republic. Their free model.
I was so disappointed when I installed that 2 weeks ago.
You can play it. But you can do like one thing a day. You can do one instance a day, or one instance a week, I think, and you can do like one daily mission. And you can't trade anything. You can't use like any epic gear unless you just pay extra stuff for it. So it's like it's just one of those things where it's like you can't really play the game unless you're paying them more money, and it kind of sucks when you've already it's like I've paid you X amount already over the last 3 years, and I'm just kind of done with it, but I still want to enjoy the game.
And you can't do anything.
Yeah.
You've already bought the game, and you can't play it.
Yeah.
That's a horrible way to do it.
Like I was saying, I installed it a couple weeks ago when we were hanging out here, and I was able to play like 5 minutes of it before I was just fed up.
Yeah.
Well,
your characters didn't have heads.
Just wouldn't load in. I couldn't play a lot of my characters because the planet wasn't downloaded yet, which was my fault. I didn't wait for it to finish downloading, but still... it was just obnoxious. Do you guys think that when a game has microtransactions in it, that should mitigate the price of DLC?
No. I think it's kind of back to Mortal Kombat. They have their like easy finishers.
I was going to talk about that. You suck.
Too long. Took too long. They have their easy finishers and their like battle skips that you can download. However many, I think it's like you get like 50
it's $5
of them.
for $1.
Is it? Yeah, so you get like 50 of them for like $10.
Like doing it, you're like, I beat you.
Yeah,
instead of like holding a button and pressing Y.
Right. I mean, I think it's like
that's why you got to pay for them.
Yeah. So it's like it's one of those things where it doesn't break the game because it doesn't really.
It doesn't matter. You already won. Yeah,
you already won the match. Right. But again, like I feel like if you're going online and you can win the match, like a lot of people that play online have a little bit more, know what's going on. So I feel like if you're going to play it online, you should know how to do at least one of your character's finishers if you can win the match. So it's like one of those things where it's fun for playing with friends, but that's like, I spent $5 to show you I'm better.
Yeah.
It's just
that does not answer the question of do you think that should mitigate the price of DLC?
I think so.
I mean, $30 for the 4 characters and the 9 skins that you got.
that was a bad DLC pack, but that wasn't necessarily.
But do you think it should be? Do you think it should be less? I mean, they're making money.
I think
off
it
of
should
people
be
buying
less.
them.
That's what I'm saying.
They're making money off of 9-year-olds.
Well, it's one of those things like
with their parents' money.
It's one of the things like Elder Scrolls and Guild Wars where it doesn't better you in any way in the game. It's just a cosmetic thing.
Yeah,
but
that doesn't matter.
The price
they're still making money off of it.
Yeah, what he's saying is like, should these microtransactions make the DLC cost less because they exist?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because it's just another edition. It's the same thing. Like, yeah, you can buy a skin pack if you really want it. I mean, granted, Mortal Kombat, I don't really like their season pass just because it is all skin packs and cosmetic. It should be, at least.
Well, I mean, 4 of them are characters.
But I mean, more maps or a longer story mode, something like a story mission for each of the 4 characters they're adding.
I don't see what the difference between adding maps or adding characters is. I feel like that's the same thing.
Sometimes adding...
Well, I mean, like, in addition to. So I'm saying, like,
DLC.
something to match with the characters. Because to just add them in, yeah, it does add a little bit more playstyle, but it's one of those things where it's like, it doesn't really expand the game. It just gives you a few more options. So it's not terrible. Like, in Mortal Kombat's case, I think the price could be a little bit lower. But in most games, I think it's not too big of a deal with the microtransactions.
But if you're not... My thing is, if you're not going to mitigate the price of your DLC, why include the microtransaction?
Because
it's just to make more money. I feel like you.
But like in the case of Elders,
but like in this, like the microtransactions don't. They're not anything to do with the characters. It's just this is a finisher. Like
yeah, but that has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
Yeah, in the case of Elder Scrolls
the use
and Guild
of the
Wars,
microtransaction has nothing to do with the fact that there is a microtransaction.
I'm gonna wait,
and you're paying money for that microtransaction.
I'll take my turn.
It should lower the price of the DLC.
Why? They're two completely unrelated
because they're still making money. So? They're making money. They're making a new revenue stream, and I feel like that should in order for them to breed good faith with their customers, they should lower their DLC price, which is overpriced.
Yeah, Derek.
In the case of Elder Scrolls and Guild Wars, the microtransactions are there to mitigate the cost of no subscription.
Right.
So I think that yes, it should lower the price of the DLC. I don't think any company will do that, right? Because they realize
that goes back to the GameStop thing.
Yeah,
it's just a smart thing for them.
But we're not gonna be happy about it, but it's gonna happen. So
like Evolve.
Yeah,
their DLC.
I don't know. I think it kind of comes back to like 2K Australia is closing down because they weren't like Borderlands and Borderlands pre-sequel and the Handsome Collection both sold really well. They both were, extremely popular games, but that still wasn't enough for the company to stay afloat. I mean, granted,
for that branch.
But granted, they were in an area where it was a little bit higher cost for them to operate. But it's one of those things where just the price of the game doesn't keep the company afloat. Because if you think about how many man hours go into it, how much it costs just to make and package the game compared to $60, and then a couple months later, $40 or $50. For a game, they're not making that much money to keep working like that, so the microtransactions, the DLC, help to keep it up. Like, yeah, it sucks for us, but they kind of need it to stay in business to be able to keep doing it.
Well, I mean, the problem...
NetherRealm is a subsidiary of a media titan.
The problem with 2K Australia, the reason they got shut down was because a bunch of koalas came in and they couldn't get them out.
Eucalyptus!
They're so cute.
They started slashing necks.
That's why you don't keep eucalyptus plants in
That's why you don't make your buildings out of eucalyptus.
I was reading the Game Informer, and there was an article about Evolve. And about their DLC, actually. There was questions about their DLC. And they were talking about how...
It's kind of self-explanatory.
I know. They're saying, how the users has decreased greatly.
Yeah, after a while. Because there's, 3 hours of content.
Would you, and why is it so pricey for DLC? And I had the Nick, mindset. I'm like, all right, explain yourselves, because this is total bullshit. And they're like, well, price is kind of a preference, even though their thing is so expensive. But they started talking about how they need it because they put out that game there and people are playing it, but that's it. They don't get paid for the amount of hours someone plays. They get paid for how much more stuff people buy. So
but they're putting less content into their game than any other game in existence.
I'm not defending that. I'm telling you what they
less work on the main game,
right?
Yes.
Than any other.
It definitely seems like they chopped off here's the game. They chopped off that much, and now they're bringing that.
They watched
what
they watched the video.
About with DLC.
Yeah, no, exactly. They watched the video of where this is what they're doing now. They take a full game and then they chop it into bits and they sell them all as DLC. Yeah. And they're like, that sounds like a great idea. Let's make a game.
I don't know. Yeah, they're doing exactly what people hate, and they're trying to prove that no, it's fine. It's not fine. If you're gonna but they're releasing. The weird thing is that when I was reading the article, they said if you read this now, there's gonna be 2 new maps. I mean, I would personally think that the hunters and stuff like that should be free, and then the new maps should be DLC.
Well, and that's the thing. Like
It'd be flipped. It'd be like
the next bit
$10.
I had in mind to ask about was should microtransactions mitigate the price of the upfront game? But I guess we could just amend that to: do you think a large amount of DLC, like Evolve, should mitigate the price of the upfront game?
I think.
Yeah, no,
Since
it
Evolve,
should.
Since Evolve is more
should.
than 50% DLC.
Oh, yes.
It should if the game itself is not complete. Like, these are all examples of bad ways to do DLC and microtransactions, but it's like, Mario Kart that came out was a really good example of how to do it. They released the full game, and then their DLC was just like another half of a game. So it wasn't, here's 80%, you can pay an extra $20 for the last 20%. It was a full game, and then they released more.
Yeah, but they didn't have
200
microtransactions.
Well, right, but I'm just saying, like, it kind of goes hand in hand. And also, Nintendo is a lot bigger, but I mean, with, like, NetherRealm being, WB, yeah, WB is a lot bigger, but I don't think they're pouring that much money into their, electronic media divisions for games. So it's one of those things where, it kind of sucks, like, I fully support DLC microtransactions if they're done well. When it's a half a game, they're charging you for everything.
When they're Evolve.
Yeah, when they're Evolve, it's kind of shitty and you shouldn't do it. But, like, if it's just something that, it enhances your experience of it, not what the game is, I'm totally for it.
No, that's fine.
And I don't think it should necessarily decrease the cost of, an extra one. So
Everyone.
So, like, I don't think it should decrease the cost of the actual DLC just because the DLC is going to be an additive to the actual gaming experience. The microtransactions are an additive to your personal experience.
Let's see what he's barking about. What are you doing? Let's see what he's barking about.
He's barking about nothing. He's barking about dog things.
Exactly.
You can't understand dog problems.
Hashtag just dog things.
Just dog things.
You can't understand dog problems.
So when are microtransactions too much?
Too
like,
much.
What is the line?
When games like a lot of freemium games where you can't play the game without them.
No, when you can't continue.
What about games that you can, but like I was talking about earlier, after like the first 2 days, 2-3 days that you play the game, all of a sudden the wait wall that you have to sit behind is a day.
Exactly, so you can't play the game.
That's kind of game breaking because that makes you stop and think about
it. But it was free.
Technically,
it was free.
You can just wait
free.
for the thing to come off cooldown.
I mean, that's what freemium games are. They want you to pay for it.
If you're going to pay for it, that's your fine.
Right, and then it's always with that era of you don't have.
That's why, I don't really like the free. I don't really like the freemium games. Like, they're all right. Some of them are pretty good. Just kind of it's an all right, solid game.
You're on toilet.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, then you can play Hearthstone on your toilet. So I mean,
I forgot that was the thing. I got to download that. There's a pretty good. I think there are in-game transactions. I'm not sure. But
can't you buy?
Fantasy one that just came out.
What?
Well, for Hearthstone, can't you pay real money for packs?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. I mean, that's a free game. You don't need the extra packs because you can just play the game, earn coins. Hearthstone's free.
That's free.
Hearthstone's free to play. But so you can play the game for free. It's a good game. If you play it long enough, you earn coins. You can pay for it with in-game money. Or you can just pay money for it and do it.
I would say that does it right.
Right.
But at the same time, you want to pay money.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's how you do it.
Just
makes it so you want
it's
to.
It's enticing.
So the game, it makes the game a little easier, but it doesn't make it just you win the game because you paid for this.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, sometimes
some of the cards,
unless you're Kyle, it's a pain.
Some of the cards,
but
you pay
because wasn't the
thing of cards,
Hearthstone was the DLC? The DLC wasn't free, was it?
The expansion was.
Was it
the
the gnomes and goblins or whatever?
That one was free. Nax and Blackrock Mountain are they cost money,
right?
Or
so
coins,
that's like the same. That's like the same thing where the microtransactions aren't really lowering the cost of this DLC. Because they're two different things. So the DLC is going to increase the amount in the game and the actual experience of the game. Whereas the microtransactions are your own personal experience with the game. Yeah. So you can play it fine without this. It's just, it makes it a little easier or a little bit faster for you.
That's true. So
anytime that isn't... That's a good model.
Yeah, anytime that isn't in a game, you're forced to pay to play... Mm-hmm. Then
pay to win.
Yeah, so I don't think it should necessarily lower the cost of the DLC. It's just that it's an alternative.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Right.
What my hang up is I disagree with your reasoning. I don't think that they shouldn't mitigate each other because they're two different things. Which is the phrase you kept coming back to.
Right.
They're two different things. They have nothing to do with each other. They shouldn't mitigate each other. I disagree with that reason for it.
Okay.
I don't necessarily disagree or agree with what your actual thesis is.
Right.
It's just I disagree. I don't.
Right.
Agree with your reason. Anyway, so that's all I had. Any last thoughts on that?
I think we covered everything.
Yeah, that was a pretty in-depth discussion about that.
That's what I was hoping for when I wrote it, because I knew I only had like 5 news stories. If that's going to take like 20 minutes.
Wait for the DLC for the next part of the conversation.
There's a fun part
$30.
NIBScast.
We'll be a different skin.
$10 for the last 15% of NIBScast.
Oh, yeah. We're going to start doing Microtansactions. If you want to hear us introduce ourselves, it's 50
Only
cents.
the intro
Who
is
are we?
the intro is $5. You get the first 10 minutes free. They're not consecutive though, so you get 30-minute chunks every 5 minutes.
Like how Matt supposedly watched Human Centipede.
Or if you pay the $25 a month, you can have all of it exclusive and get the magazine.
And you can just call us on Skype and we'll talk to you.
You
$10 a month
will.
and you get the cold
We'll
openings for all of them.
We'll watch
We'll,
movies with you on Netflix, but you have to have your own Netflix subscription.
Yeah. You're not Jordan
sign you-
Diaz. We won't let you use ours.
We'll sign a thank you card with Matt Czech's face on it. So yeah, I mean,
$25 a month.
Someone called me.
Turn it off.
Yeah, come on.
What are you doing?
I don't know the number.
Yes, if you don't know the number,
Why
why
is
is it
that
even
so
a deal?
confusing?
No one
God,
calls
how do
me.
I?
Anyway.
I don't have friends.
No one calls me. I don't know.
Wrong numbers can't dial me. That's impossible.
So, we all play D&D and various role-playing games. I'm working on Star Wars.
You better.
Before either of you,
Yes.
any of you, not either, any of you, before any of you bring it up. I'm working on it. So we all play various pen and paper role-playing games, in addition to board games, in addition to video games. So RPG is an acronym that gets assigned to a lot of things, and my question is, when you're playing a video game RPG, typically that means you're playing an adventure game with some customizable traits on your character, customizable equipment, whatnot, and it's story driven.
Right.
My question is a game where you play as an established character really an RPG?
Yes.
I mean, technically, what you're doing there is you're role taking. It's an actual phrase. What you're doing there is role taking. You're technically not role playing.
I just keep
that's the letter of the law, not the spirit. So I'm not going to argue that. But
quick question.
In like a pen and paper RPG, you make your character. You are playing the role that you made.
But
by that, are you talking about like in like Mass Effect, where
That's what
you're technically you're
Commander Shepard.
Okay, you're Commander Shepard.
You're Master
and compared to
Shepard.
like Elder
Whereas-
Scrolls, where you make your own character and race
Well, and we can get to that.
and your own name.
I was gonna say we can get to that because
that's
that's a weird half step where a lot of
So,
what's
well-
happening there is already predestined,
But, well, okay.
regardless of what character you make.
but
so you're saying like the whole world.
Whereas
basically
with
choose
pen and
wherever you
paper,
go, and
with
it's
pen and
not
paper,
kind of
Derek
on rails.
makes a nameless character that is obsessed with my character's boobs. In that you're role playing, you're creating your character. That is your character. You shape how they act, everything that they can do, and the world is shaped by another person. Whereas in like Mass Effect, that world is shaped for that character.
In that way, then, I don't think that there technically will ever be, or at least a long as time, video game that is directly RPG, because that's a lot of programming to have a lot of different outcomes.
Absolutely.
But the closest thing we have is like Elder Scrolls and maybe like those what is it? Those old text-based games
Like Zork.
Yeah.
But even those are still a set storyline.
I know, all video games are a set storyline.
Well, see, I think getting towards this, I don't think role playing game is a correct way to describe it, because even though
You just jump into later in my questions.
what?
The last part of that is RPG a misnomer or an anachronism?
Whatever.
In current gaming?
You act like I read things.
You're supposed
Oh no,
to.
I'm not saying you
He's a
read things. I'm
mouse.
saying you're a psychic.
No,
I'm saying you have magic powers.
basically, like, I don't, because even with like pen and paper games where you're creating your own character, it's still in a list of guidelines, even though they are a much more expansive amount of guidelines, and you're still in a world that, I mean, the way we play isn't like most people play, because a lot of people do use the pre-generated dungeons, all that. But I mean, it's
by the way, that's what we're going to be doing for Star Wars because I'm lazy and I don't know how to do construction. Like, I don't know how to blueprint buildings for Star Wars, and like I'm not.
It's easier that way, and it's usually
the GURPS thing that I'm setting up is going to be.
So like
pre-made.
It's even though you do have this an increased amount of customization in what you're doing, it's still not really a role playing game as much because it's still a set amount of guidelines that you have to go through. So I mean, it still is kind of there, but it's just one of those things where it's the way that you interpret it.
That's what makes the difference between a video game and the like a paper and pen, because you can do whatever you want in that. In a video game, you have set limits. Right. So I'm kind of happy that we technically don't have.
But actually, I mean, like,
that would be awesome if we had like a legit RPG. But I guarantee we're not going to have that for a long time.
But I mean, it's kind of the same thing as like games like Second Life or other kind of like
chat room. I don't think it's
right, but it's still where you have the access to manipulate the environment. You can manipulate your character, so you can do all these things. Derek's taking his pants off.
Second Life.
You can do all these things, and it's like, yeah, just because we don't think of it as an RPG because it doesn't have action or fantasy elements, it's still, you're taking up this role, you're creating this character, even though you're not like, he has these magic powers. It's like, you know what, this is who I am in this scenario.
Specifically going off a role-playing game, yes.
Yeah, so it's like
Second Life, but I don't consider Second Life a game. I consider it a chat room, like Habbo Hotel.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's...
Well, how do you feel about games like Dear Esther or Journey?
I like those. Those are an experience. Those are an experience. Those aren't RPGs.
Well, no, he's just saying.
Yeah, but I mean, like, because you said you don't consider.
I consider.
Game. Do you consider like Flower?
I consider Flower and Journey a game because you are going through. There is an adventure.
You just shoveled down a hallway.
But you're not. You don't have any choices in it. Like you're just going.
You can't even really mess it up. You're just going forward.
Second Life isn't a game because it's just you typing to other people in a room.
Right, but
Journey is a game because you have an experience. You go through different lands and stuff like that.
But you have an experience in Second Life.
But in Second Life, wouldn't you just consider Second Life a multiplayer Animal Crossing? You don't necessarily have a goal in Animal Crossing.
That's true.
Except for running away from Tom Nook.
Pay off your house.
But
me.
Too fast, 5 fast,
3 fast,
5.
Like you can just not, or you can,
exactly.
and then just continue.
It's one of those things where it's like it's hard to describe it because there isn't really a good way to describe it because regardless of what you're doing, whatever you're doing isn't going to be, hey, my character can do this, this, and this, and this. It's going to be what your experience with it is. So you can decide, like, you know what, even if you're playing like Halo, where you're on a set path as Master Chief, and they're telling you things about him, you can still make everything of like, you know what, I'm having this experience with this game, I'm gonna, every, grunt I see, I'm only gonna punch them to death. Like, things like that. So it's like,
you really hate short people.
But still, like,
bringing that joke around.
It's one of those things where, like, you can, even though you don't have as much freedom with what you're doing in it, it's still your experience of the game and what role you say. So even they're like, this is this guy that has this armor and does this.
Okay, but
you still have extra things that you can add to it.
But wouldn't that make everything an RPG?
Right.
Yeah, everything is an RPG.
Because everything you are playing a role. Even if somebody else has created the role for you,
I think role-taking is like it shouldn't be a thing.
It's a synonym.
It shouldn't be like a different thing.
Role-playing doesn't necessarily infer...
RPG is a redundant...
It's a
redundant acronym. It's a role-playing game. In the game, you take a role by default.
Yeah, no matter what.
So that's what I'm saying.
And you play it. So
it's not a good way to describe what it is.
However, I would agree, I don't know if this is jumping ahead, that it is more fulfilling to play your own character if the world that you're playing your own character in is made well. Like, otherwise, you don't have a good experience.
Like Spore. When it's fun,
or
to
if
make
your
own
character is
character.
created correctly.
Yeah, correctly, or if like the people you're playing with aren't like selling bananas on the street and trying to die and shit. So.
Yeah, no, that was the next question I was going to get to. Do you think it's more fulfilling to play a character that you created, even if it's by certain guidelines, than it is for like Master Chief or not Master Commander Shepard?
Yeah.
Because yes, you can customize his abilities, you can customize his looks, but you can't customize. And later on in the games, there's less of that in both areas, but. Is that more fulfilling to play as something that somebody scripted specifically to tell the narrative as best possible?
It depends on if you finish it.
I think it depends on the story.
That's what I mean.
When it comes to like, let's say, Last of Us, like that's a pre-made character. I'm role taking. I'm playing as him, having the experience be like my own. But I like it much better that it's him and not a like jack off that I made, because there's story behind that. There's a story behind that person compared to like, and then I'll play like an Elder Scrolls game or not Spore. I'll play an Elder Scrolls game and I get in depth. I like my character and I like the story that it's going with. So I feel like it depends on how well it's written.
I don't think it needs
redundancies.
I don't think I don't think it needs to necessarily be how well the world is made. Like, obviously, if the game looks terrible and plays terrible, you're not going to have a fun experience with it. Yeah. But I think it's more the amount that you put into it. So, like, if you want to become immersed with the character, like I said, with if you want to be Master Chief that only uses pistols or whatever, the more immersive your character is, you can create your own backstory with it and create your own character, even if there's only one option presented before you. Mm. So it doesn't necessarily need to be up to the game to tell you the story. You need to tell yourself the story with the game as a background.
As long as you find a way to enjoy it, go at it. Just go at it. Second Life. I was masturbating for a second.
So do you think RPG is a null term? No?
Like
when you now going forth, if you hear somebody talk about an RPG, are you going to think, well, that doesn't really define that at all?
I think they need to find a better term for it. Yeah,
I don't know if there really is a better term for it.
I think it should just fade away at this point. Because
I think it should just be adventure. Now. Adventure games are a perfect term for what most RPGs
adventure
are.
And fantasy.
Yeah, I mean that is what
most people would call an RPG by default.
So it's not. It's just the actual naming of it is kind of redundant, because regardless of what game you're playing, you're going to be playing the role that is presented before you, whether you created or somebody else has created it for you.
When you think about it, though, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Derek.
Oh, I was just saying like you never really hear RPG to describe specific games anymore. It is more the setting now.
Yeah,
right. Like it's a sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, really, RPG could describe any.
I was going to say, but when you think about, when someone says RPG, what's the first thing you think about? Do you think
like if somebody says, I played this awesome game, it's called Fest, it's an RPG, what do you think, what kind of game do you automatically assume it is, if that's just the description?
Then I would assume it's one of those, like, hardcore RPG.
Hardcore.
Yeah, no. Like a hardcore game, as in, you do have a lot of customization. Yeah. In everything. That's what I would assume.
So when you think RPG, you think massively customized.
Yeah.
Like when you first think of the word
itself, like obviously fantasy or sci-fi and
yeah, I would. What would I think? I guess Morrowind-ish.
I think even though it's kind of like a crude term for it, I think just like customizable fantasy adventure or something. It doesn't sound as good, but that's a better description.
It sounds so like dad-ish.
Right, but I mean, like,
you're playing that on your Nintendo?
Right,
playing that Elder Scrolls
on your Nintendo 360?
Nintendo 360.
But it's like, that's a better description of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it is.
But, yeah, I don't know. RPGs are fun, though.
Oh, yeah, RPGs are fun.
Watch Dogs seem cool.
Watch Dogs seemed cool.
Until you played it.
Real quick.
Exactly, so it's the mystery of the game.
Which Dr. Adams
real quick,
Ravensbane.
I want to bring something up. 2 weeks ago, I think it was, on the podcast, Nick brought up a question that people needed to answer to get
I did.
free.
Nobody has sent me.
You also never gave a question.
No, I did.
Did you?
He wrote
it's
it
on the posting
on the
of the.
Oh, is it okay? I thought you because I remember you bringing it up, and they're like,
You know, the question is, what is the name of the character on Lost? He's a travel agent that tells John Locke he can't go on the walkabout.
Koala Man.
It is not Koala.
Eucalyptus Man?
I'll have to look it up again. No, it's not Koala.
David.
Man.
I don't know.
Andrew.
I want to say what I think it was,
His
but
name-
if I'm right, I don't want to say it out loud.
His name
But yeah, if you
is
want a copy
Jonathan
of Gauntlet,
Sunflower.
if you want a copy of Gauntlet, send that to me on Facebook. Facebook.com/Nikki13official. Didn't you already have it? I thought you already had it.
Yeah.
On Steam. Gauntlet on Steam.
No, an
But yeah,
actual leather
Facebook.com/Nikki13official. The 13 is Roman numeral.
Nikki also spelt in a masculine form.
Nikki Z.
Yeah, I'm not the bass player.
There's a Y.
N-I-K-K-I.
Motley Crue.
420.
It's NYNYK.
Or a girl that I knew in high school that wrote a poem about giving a blowjob.
What?
Blowjobs.
One scoop of fun, 2 scoops of
What was I
ice
going
cream.
to say something about
3 scoops of life.
Oh, also, I will not be here next week because of C2E2, which I'm going to. If you're going to that, just say hi to me. I don't care. You know
Hello.
my name.
Hey.
Whatever.
Oh, wait, I'm not.
There's pictures of me on the previous
Your voice
podcast.
could be there.
There's one where I'm a seal.
Am I going to C2E2?
There's also one with me
Are you
with
going to
a
C2E2?
lemon in my
I don't think
mouth.
so. I'm going to C2E2.
Do you could buy a ticket to C2E2?
No, I didn't.
Then
So
you're
I'm
not going to
probably
C2E2. If this is a magical world,
I mean,
where
Toad
all
Hall
can
might still have passes.
I also,
Josh is going every day. He's riding the train down every day.
I also
Really?
work
Yeah,
Sunday.
he didn't want to pay for a hotel. So he's just riding the train down.
Gotta get that train out.
Yeah. I told him we'll give him a ride back on the way up.
It's like, no.
I'd give him a ride down on Friday, but Sasha works till noon.
Gotta get my train in my veins.
My train in my
We're gonna
veins.
cut this part out.
Oh no, we're not cutting this
We're
part
not.
out.
That's,
Okay.
We're not
that's
at an hour
pictures.
yet.
Josh, train my veins.
Yeah.
And we don't normally go to like a full hour, but we got time.
We
can
don't
talk.
cut anything.
We've cut.
Oh, we're
that.
cutting the very beginning out before you
Sniffing.
guys started just sniffing. Oh no, the sniffing staying. I already said the sniffing staying.
Snifflecast.
Oh,
Welcome to Civil
I'm gonna
Sniff-
speedrun
Snifflecast.
Bloodborne tonight, guys.
Oh
Have you watched Daredevil?
no,
It's really good.
You watched
No.
Daredevil?
Oh god,
I
it's
mean, Derek watched Daredevil.
I'm not like opposed to watching it. I just haven't done it yet.
you should.
You should watch Daredevil.
I still need to
Pretty
watch
good.
True Detective and House of Cards and like
It's really
all that
good.
stuff.
And all of the
really
stuff.
good.
All of the stuff.
They're all really good.
I fell asleep earlier today.
No,
I
I
fell
know
asleep at
that.
like 11.
I mean, I
When I
fall
woke up-
asleep most days.
When I woke up, do you know what was playing?
Daredevil.
Matt Check's
No.
voice.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I fell asleep watching YouTube. It was a video I've sent to you guys.
Oh, God.
Was it the lip smacking?
The
it was.
the ASMR.
Connor hates that sound, so I do it a lot.
Oh, you should link him that video.
Yeah, that's gonna sound horrible, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be terrible.
Oh, stop.
I don't know if you were the Skype call, but I found one. I found one where he was slightly drunk and making out with a mannequin.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh no, I've watched a few of them and I've looked at like what he has. Like,
He's like,
well, the
oh,
best
yeah.
part is the
Oh,
title of the video mentions that he's slightly drunk. We were good this week. We didn't have like a period where we all just started
Yep.
swearing.
Yep, no.
I'm proud of that.
I don't want to
Proud of that.
instigate because you asked me not to.
I appreciate that.
I tried not to.
Do
I
you
didn't,
want to get
actually.
one out of the way? Okay. All right. Well, I am Nikki13.
I'm mad.
I'm Adam.
Yeah.
and that is Dylan, our guest for the week. And this is the NIBScast. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week. Bye.